Belting has more to do with the way the sound vibrates coming out of your face than it does volume. That's a common misconception. This is a belt. Ah! That note is forward. I feel it in the front of my face. I feel it vibrating here. This is not a belt. Ah! Ah! But it's about the same volume. That note is placed further back. I feel it more in the back of my throat, the back of my soft palate, that area. If you want a belt, make sure you feel it. You're directing the sensation of that note towards the front of your face. Dayseeker, without me, it's about time I did a vocal analysis of Rory Rodriguez. This is going to be one fascinating vocal analysis, and if you'd like more help developing some of the things that you hear in his voice, in your voice, click the link below and join my free voice course, and I will help you create a foundation with your voice that will allow you to get some of these sounds and some of the amazing range that guys like Rory. First time I've heard that song, I felt like I had to start the Dayseeker journey on this channel with that one. Thanks for watching. Again, if you'd like more help with your voice, Click the link below and join my free course. More Dayseeker on the channel to come. We'll see you for more. My comments have been flooded with people asking for a reaction to Gabriel Henrique's Earth Song. I have not heard this guy sing. Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time that I've been accused of living under a rock. I do know that he was on America's Got Talent, and I saw that there was a video that had millions of views, but I didn't watch that one either. So this is my first experience, and it just so happens to be a Michael Jackson cover, which is amazing because if you've been following my channel at all, you know that I've done dozens of isolated vocal and multi-track breakdowns of a lot of my favorite Michael Jackson songs. Well, let's just dive right in, shall we?
What about sunrise? What about the rain? What about all the things that you say the words again? What about killing fields? Is there time? What about all the things that you say was yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice all the brothers shared before?
Well, before we get too much into this, I want to point out a few things. This is a singing channel, and I help people pull things out of their own voices by listening in certain ways to great vocalists and then figuring out what they can do with their voices based on that. And if you'd like more help doing that with your voice, click the link below in the video description or the first comment and join my free vocal course, and I'll help you work with your own voice in a very new way. Listen to the contrast in his tone and approach from the beginning to when he starts leaning into his chest voice a bit more. This is important for any singer to recognize.
What about sunrise? What about the rain?
What about sunrise? You ever have that singing in the shower, singing in the car, sort of passively voice, and you feel like your voice is so free you could do anything, but then when you start to lean into your voice later, it traps itself. This voice and approach that he's using right here is that kind of voice, where it's not a fully engaged chest voice. He's playing with that border between the chest voice and the head voice, but because he's not using very much breath pressure, what? You could classify this as partly in chest voice and partly in head voice. It's a really cool place to live and feel out in your own voice.
What about all the things that you say the words again?
But you can hear, hey, when he hits that note and then goes for the run, he's more engaged. He pushes into his chest voice, hey, and then he does a much more complex run than that, but he does it by backing off the breath pressure, not by leaning in further as he tries to gain agility. Lots of singers reverse this and it trips them up.
What about killing fields? Is there time? What about all the things that you say was yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice all the brothers shared before?
Now he's doing another thing that all great vocalists do. Before. He's sighing in to a heavily engaged chest voice note. This allows for an extra freedom when it comes to pushing into your voice. If you just go, a lot of times we end up sounding like a trapped megaphone or a very monotone type sound. But if you have this freedom to sort of goofily sigh into particular parts of your voice, you can actually get a freer, more variety-oriented tone out of it.
All the brothers shared before.
Subtle.
Did you ever start to notice this quiet, this evening shines?
Oh, that was beautiful. Oh, yeah. Now there, that whole section very definitively going between chest voice and head voice, not because he needs to. This is another thing that great vocalists do that subpar vocalists do not do. Subpar vocalists tend to use head voice as a way to cover notes that they just can't quite reach in chest voice or mixed voice. He is willfully going in and out of chest voice and head voice as an art form, as a way to express and create more dynamics. He doesn't have to use his head voice. He's choosing to. As soon as you can get to the point as a vocalist where you can choose to use head voice or chest voice as a method of expression and not a cop-out or crutch, your voice will improve drastically.
I used your dream, I used your place beyond the stars. Now I don't know where we are. I know, drifting far.
Yeah. Oh. Case in point, he's higher now. There's a key change. He's doing way more of it in his chest voice. He's got great compression, great breath pressure and control. You can hear little bits of grit coming in when he's choosing to. He's got so much control over the expression in his voice. He's a master of what his voice can do from an agility perspective. I want to go back and point out a few specific things here.
I know, drifting far.
He's giving some things away with his hand. Let's watch that section one more time.
I know, drifting far.
Hey! His voice is being led by his body language. How he extends his hand out like that as he's holding that note and then sort of recoils as he goes down that run. I say all the time that the body follows the mind, which follows the body, which follows the mind. It's this endless cycle when it comes to singing. And if we are overly concerned with what our body's doing while we're singing, we will give in to unconscious tension, which will trap our voice. If we are so concerned about what our voice is doing, whether we're hitting the right notes or the right pitches, whatever, if we're too concerned with that, we will also trap our voice. The key to free singing, and he's demonstrating it right here in a masterful way, is to let your body react to what you're feeling when you sing, and then your mind reacts to what your body is doing, perpetuating the cycle in a positive way. Experience your voice on a sensation-based level before thinking about how it sounds. Let your body react to that sensation, and then let your mind react to the freedom that your body is experiencing, and the sound will dial itself in. I've seen this happen over and over again, and you hear it happening, you see it happening over and over again here with Gabriel. That was really interesting. With that particular vocal posture, he's actually taking a yawn approach to mixing. That's not a chest voice note. Yawn, as opposed to which is sort of like the note I did earlier. He's placing these notes in a lot of dynamic ways to get all sorts of different tones out, not locking himself into one particular way that he may hit best. This makes it more interesting. It's really cool. And then listen here. We had And then we had ha, right? Totally different placements, same note. Not even singing any words, so there's not even really a vowel that is perpetuating this change in placement. It's just his sensation-based articulation coming out in a variety of ways. It's cool, that little subtle run at the very end there. That sigh. That's another one of those examples. Don't, if you're trying to learn from this experience, try to do exactly what he's doing. Don't try to hit the notes that Gabriel's hitting. Simply take the concept and put it in your own voice over whatever note, just like I'm doing, and don't be concerned about sounding stupid. I am not concerned about sounding stupid. You have to sound stupid while you're picking things up from other vocalists that sound great. If you try to pick things up from other vocalists that sound great and then immediately judge yourself for sounding stupid because you're trying to sing what they're singing, you'll never get anywhere. You have to start with this gotta suck mentality, and then over time, with an open mind, things will come. Much more open and mixed there. It was thinner, right? It wasn't yawned. It was ah. I was placed a little more like the yawn. Yeah. Do you hear how he's going back and forth between that yawned approach and that more brash forward approach? His larynx is floating too. You can hear that in his approach. How many times have you heard, oh, your larynx should be here. Don't let your larynx raise. Let your larynx float. Don't even pay attention to whether it's high or low. Pay attention to the types of placements you're using and how variety-oriented and full you can be there. And let your larynx do whatever. Yeah!
What about the seas? Heavens upon its top, I can't even breathe. What about apathy? I need you. What about nature's love? What about baby boy? What about the days? What about all the joy? What about the man? What about the crying man? What about Abraham?
You can hear all the things I was talking about, the dynamic placement, the way he's using his airflow, the way he's using his different registers coming into play here for ultimate freedom and power. He's using a mixed voice here that is highly honed and refined. A highly honed and refined mixed voice, and the agility that comes with what he's doing here comes from being willing to be free, non-judgmental, and experimental with your voice. Experimenting with all sorts of different characteristics without thinking about which ones sound good or sound bad, but instead leaning into how things feel. You can tell he's feeling everything he does, and that's what we relate to. It's also what, over time, creates a fantastic sounding voice.
What about the man? What about the crying man? What about Abraham? What about deep again?
Oh, I gotta hear that again. See my video on how to start honing whistle tones in your own voice. I won't go into it a ton here. What an incredible on-demand usage of this. I have not heard this from a male vocalist like this in what appears to be a one-take cover. This is incredible. Whistle tones aren't coming from your primary chords. Lots of times they're coming from a constriction that is up higher in the throat, similar to the constrictions that harsh vocalists or extreme vocalists will use, which is why a lot of people can't find it. More on that in my video on whistle tones. Incredible control and wow. Oh! Okay. It's got things so well blended. It's low. Wow. Oh. And to have that kind of agility. Oh, there's even this release, this sort of sigh within the whistle tone exhale. He has an H in there. What? Oh, and it gets right back into that nice belted chest voice. I have never heard anything like this in my life. Oh. If you are free and non-judgmental with your practicing, will you be as good as Gabriel? No. But there's so much that we can take away from watching his persona here and from listening to the results. He is so incredibly free, not because he is good. He is good, he is exceptional, first and foremost, because he is free. If you take nothing else away from this video from an encouragement or like inspirational standpoint for your own voice, take that bit of information away. That he is good, he is exceptional because he started by approaching his voice with a sense of freedom, not striving. Be sure to check out all of my Michael Jackson videos if you haven't already. I've left the playlist here on the screen. And again, if you'd like more help exploring your voice in a non-judgmental way and pulling things out of it you never thought possible, click the link below and join my free course. We'll see you for more. I'm just coming off of the Treasure Hunt live stream. And if you haven't watched that one yet, do. And make sure you watch all the way to the end. My mind is still spinning in all sorts of directions. If you have seen that, you will understand perfectly my disposition going in to Money Game Part 3. Let's just do it. I wonder how well you can see. There's practice for you, right? I missed some text.
you a story about a boy named Jimmy. 1 year old and his first words were mine, mine, gimme. 2 years old he was walking, 3 years old walking quickly. 4 years old he was running round the pavements of his city. 5 years old and his daddy told him, listen here son, you gotta learn to be a man. A man, he works for what he wants. 6 years old and he's reading, writing, top of the bunch. And when he's 7, his progression made him student number 1. 8 years old and he's praised for unusual grades. 9, his parents paid for private school to nurture the flame. 10, 11, 12, 13, he ascends and ascends. His daddy tells him, son, money is the means to all ends. 14, solving complex mathematical equations. At 15, IQ 150, still elevating. 16, he develops complex software code that detects weaknesses in cybersecurity protocols. 17, and he sells his vision, keeping the share. Not yet an adult, but he's practically a millionaire. 18, and his daddy tells him, now you're a man. This world don't give a damn about you, so take all that you can. 19, he turns a profit, stocks and shares, invest in product. 20, double down deposits. 21, his income rockets. 22, he learns the truth is just an obstacle to wealth. If you manipulate the data, then a lie will sell itself. 23, a life of luxury, crystal and cocaine. 24, he makes the Forbes list, they're applauding his name. 25, and his daddy tells him, listen here son, while you're sitting in that palace, that don't mean that you won. 26, a business shift, he switches business to arms. He's 27, dealing nuclear and shells in Iran. 28, inside the Senate, money bought him a seat. He's 29, a role of counsel in the president's suite. Now he's 30, his daddy says you're losing the race. You're just a servant to the king, not even in second place. 31, a big maneuver for his daddy's approval, moving imports over borders from the exports out of Cuba. 32, moving grams, growing kilos to tons. He's 33, filling warehouses with powder and guns. 34, turf war with nobody to stop it. Blind eye from the po-po inside of his pocket. "35, he gets the call. I'm sorry, son, but it's your father. Had a heart attack. I'm sorry, he's gone. 36, getting pissed off, abusing his product. 37, eyes glazed, disposition demonic. 38, with a prostitute, a moment of passion, heating up a silver spoon and then chasing the dragon. 39, getting reckless and hungry for power. Daddy's words are still driving him to kill and devour. Makes a move against the cartel, but the strategy's flawed. They retaliate and leave him in a hospital ward. A bullet buried in his vertebra and one in his leg. The doctor sighs and says, I don't think you'll be walking again. Fuck.
I think in order to have anything even remotely relevant to say, I have to watch this. I have to just keep going. Sorry for all of you who just watched the whole thing without stopping, but this is absolutely incredible. Speechless. It's not... Oh.
Let me tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. He was 40 and he cursed the words, mine, mine, gimme. 41, he wasn't walking. 42, not walking quickly. 43, never running round the pavements of his city. 44, inside a palace with a mountain of gold. But those riches turn to rubble when perspective evolves. Weighing heavy on his conscience is the value of gold. Lamborghini for a life, trading money for souls. Jimmy followed the code inside the land of the free. Put your hand inside the cookie jar, take more than you need. And his example is exaggerated versions of me. And it's a version of him. And it's a version of she. And it's a version of you. There's no escaping the blame. The way we live is parasitic. Fuck for money and fame. Cut the music. This isn't entertainment. This is real life. The way we live is lunacy, community, it declines. Hyperpolarized, always fighting, then we divide. Truth is less important than the money that we designed. Money's an invention. Politics from our invention. They all come from people's ideas. Did I mention? Border's an invention. Law and order fuel the tension. It leads to people killing each other. My solution? Everything is subject to change. We could build utopias if individuals were taught to use their brains. But if we teach kids in schools to always be sheep and put themselves before the herd if there's more money for me, then there's no future I see where the humans survive. We're parasites inside a petri dish with cannibal minds. Mold will grow upon the surface then consumes till it dies. And our fate could be the same without this story to the wise. "45. Jimmy comes home out of the rain, soaking wet upon a wheelchair, drinking again. He is everything he wants, he is fortune and fame. He's a fortunate fool with an unfortunate fate. With a 45 caliber aimed at his brain. 45 a fitting number cause his age is the same. Here's the words of his father, it's such a damn shame. Then he presses on the trigger of a money game.
We can hear preachers, we can hear podcasts, we can listen to audiobooks, we can read books. We can go down all the self-help channels that we want to go down. But when we hear a story that disgusts us, that calls us out, and done so eloquently, this so perfectly puts into perspective why pursuits, goals, are so incredibly hollow. And there's so many ways that if you step back and look at yourself, you can see those warning signs of, oh, if I just had enough money, in this example, or if I just had enough fame, enough likes, enough views, if I was just good enough at this, if I was good enough at singing or better at whatever, I would be. We see examples over and over again of rich and famous people. This story, it's everywhere. It's everywhere, and it's in progress inside me. It's in progress in my kids. For someone to put a mirror up, this is what's so brilliant about this delivery, this video, this song. I was about to say earlier that this is so much more than a song. This is a mirror. For an artist to be able to create something like this that functions as a mirror, it is far more effective, exponentially more effective than any podcast self-help, because it's done from a perspective of creative expression. Not you should believe this, or you should do this, or I should, or we should. It's just a story that in its art suggests, corrects, admonishes, does so many things. I'm completely blown away. I don't know that I have ever watched a music video. I know that I've never watched a music video that has impacted me this way. I don't know that I've ever listened to a song that creates this kind of mirror. And I don't know if I would stop at calling this a song. I mean, the video itself, this is a mini movie. And let's watch the closing scene again with Ren's song Masochist and Knox Hill's analysis of what that song was symbolizing.
He is everything he wants, he is fortune and fame. He's a fortunate fool with an unfortunate fate. With a 45 caliber aimed at his brain. 45 a fitting number cause his age is the same. Here's the words of his father, it's such a damn shame. Then he presses on the trigger of a money game.
Now that's the typical most unfortunate end, right? But if we take what Ren was communicating in Masochist...
It's this purge of identity, this purge of where we've come from. And I like to think that this purge is happening in order to create something new. I'm just going to murder my identity, my ego, myself, and everything. I'm going to tear it all down and set it on fire.
Before we get to the point where we want to end our physical existence, what are the other things that we can kill? What are the other things that are gonna get us and inadvertently end our physical existence? The pursuits, greed, all these things. What can we do to kill those things before they kill us? And if we look at, Money Games 1, 2, and 3, and then we look at what he did in Masochist, and we put a little bit of Lost All Faith in there, we are seeing inside the mind of someone who has suffered become more introspective and vulnerable and real and true. The amount of self-discovery that Ren has been able to go through is just amazing. Maybe it's because of suffering. I don't know. But let's bring this back to any pursuits that we have, not just money. Let's bring it back to being good as an artist, having a good voice. If we pursue goodness, if we pursue having a good voice, if we pursue having a lot of money, if we pursue, even if we get it, because we had the pursuit in mind the whole time and not the quality of the journey and how we are developing as a human, how our consciousness is developing, how our perspectives and our perceptions of ourselves, if we forget about all those things or ignore all those things because we're so focused on a pursuit, even if we get what we wanted, it's not going to feel like enough because we discounted what it took to get there. We discounted the journey. The journey is the reward. So what makes up a fulfilling journey if it's not based on a series of pursuits? What do we do? How do we get out of the money game? By continually killing the desire to elevate ourselves, our needs, our desires, our pursuits above others. We put others as similarly imperfect and horrific as they are to us. We put others before ourselves. And we continually kill the desire to leapfrog above them. I don't do that well. I mean, when we think about it, we're all working towards our own demise anyway. And so if we can intentionally foster the decreasing of ourselves and the elevating of those around us, we are passing along our energy, whatever goodness we may have, rather than it being taken from us, even if by ourselves. If we have the giving mindset, what we give cannot be taken away from us. Lots more to think about. Thank you so much, Ren, for this incredible afternoon of reminders and introspection. Absolutely incredible. Yay, another Bring Me the Horizon track. Post-Human Survival Horror continues to be one of my favorite albums. I leaned into it heavily during the pandemic. And these new tracks preceding the new album so far have been just awesome. Every single one of them. Ollie's voice keeps getting better and better, too. Let's see what we got. Their production is just... I should come to expect it by now. I mean, right off, things are simultaneously so simple, yet when you take a second to listen to more, the vocal layering, all the little twinkly things happening, so much fun. Listen to the octave above the main line, but also listen, if you're listening in good headphones, which you should be, listen to the panning of the vocals and the mild distortion that's gluing his voice to the front of this mix. You really get a sense for what a large part his breathing is in this line because of how compressed and distorted these calm vocals are. Oh, gotta hear that transition again. That line, and particularly the rhythmic makeup of it, reminds me of a recently covered Papa Roach tune by one of my other favorite artists.
Don't give a fuck if I cut my arm bleeding. Don't give a fuck if my heart stops beating. Hey, I'm begging you to stay. Can't trust myself tonight. My heart keeps breaking.
Ooh, let's go over that chorus again. There's a lot going on in terms of pitch screaming. This is all pitch screaming, singing with distortion to different degrees. I want to help you access this if you're interested in doing stuff like that. And if you want to go deeper with the foundations necessary to get this kind of stuff out of your own voice, click the link below and join my free voice course. I'll help you with support, I'll help you with resonance, all things you need to sing with distortion correctly, safely, and expressively. So let's just take that, the notes, clean. Hey, I'm begging you to stay. That top note where he breaks up. This isn't about saying, I'm gonna push harder alone to get distortion. It's so broken up and it's so different from his clean voice. So if we actually back off pressure while we're reaching for that note, hey, I'm and don't quite hit it and let our voice crack. Let it crack horribly. Hey, I'm begging you to stay. And be really ugly with it. Then practice leaning in right at the point you feel your voice breaking. Practice leaning into the crack. Hey, I'm begging you to stay. This takes time to develop, but you can hear in what I'm doing as I lean into that break, I can manage to get the pitch in there at the same time as all the false chord engagement. Same thing there. And there. So right there, you hear the, I can't trust myself tonight. Even if you can't hit those notes cleanly, try to not hit them cleanly. I can't trust myself tonight. And let yourself be sloppy with it and embrace all the that desperation that he's got there. Now that technique is a little bit different than the one I just covered. The one I just covered, we're sort of pushing up to a point where our voice cracks and then leaning into it. Here, we're going to sigh down to those notes a little bit. So if we just work on speaking this line. Can you talk me off the ledge again? Can you talk me off the ledge again? All these little artifacts that are happening, right? Can you talk me off the ledge again? So I'm still breaking, but I'm sighing into this break. Can you talk me off the ledge again? Now I'm going to try to maintain pitch. So clean. Can you talk me off the ledge again? Don't worry if you're not sounding exactly the way you want to sound. This stuff is ugly when you're dialing it in. Can you talk me off the ledge again? Now I'm going to sigh more into it and embrace those imperfections and inefficiencies. Sigh. Can you talk me off the ledge again? And it gets so nasty. The key is we want to embrace what doesn't sound good while we're dialing this in and continue to feel out the difference between our clean singing and our sighs. As long as we're sighing into this and not letting ourselves tense into forcing a particular sound, that sound will come. And you saw it starting to develop even as I was continuing to sigh and continuing to compare the differences in sensation between clean and side. Listen how abandoned he was there on Heart Stops Beating on the background vocals. But it's a lot closer to, if my heart stops beating, than it is anything else, right? This complete abandonment. Resignation, right? That's what we're sensing. And that's what this sigh, this well-supported sigh, helps to communicate and helps you experience. Another cool thing about what he does, if we listen to that over and over again, there's this breath pressure release after what he's doing. We can tell he's using a lot of compression on his screams. He's compressing into those sighs and those screams because we hear the excess come out at the end. Over and over. Or Here comes the breakdown. Also, if we really focus in on the production, the doubling that's happening with those screams helps fill out some of the imperfections that you would hear if it was only one Ollie doing those screams. Keep that in mind as you're dialing this stuff in. Now there's some good non-pitched. You can also sigh into that approach. But the difference is we're not re-engaging or trying to re-engage our primary chords. We're leaving them out. Just false chord engagement there. One more time. Now that is the same type of pitch scream. It's just that he's leaning way harder into the false chord sensation than he is trying to dial it back for pitch. When I'm gone! You can still hear that pitch cracking in and out. But if we really abandon over to the false chord engagement, which again, I can help you with moderating your support so that you can do this correctly if you join my free course, linked in the video description. But listen again to Gone. When I'm gone, no, when I'm, that's the implied note, but it's hardly there. When I'm gone! You really can't hear the note that much. You could hear me the first time I did it, dial it in a little bit, remove the primary chords. This is a balancing act. So fun to play with once you start finding this balancing act. Can't trust myself tonight. You hear that very, very faintly in the background. That octave, that intensity. Can't trust myself. Can you tell me off the ledge again? Brilliant and catchy. So looking forward to the new album. Again, if you would like more help with your voice so that you can start to approach this level of singing, click the link below and join my free course. We'll see you for more. Vocal distortion comes from properly placed and managed compression, holding back air while using proper support. But a lot of singers have trouble holding back air and placing that correctly as they go higher, particularly up into what they feel like is a mixed voice. We end up clamming up or seizing up when we try to go too high with this holding back or compressing air approach. Bear with me here. First, think super thin, high, and whiny. Just make the highest, whiniest, thinnest voice that you can. It might start really head voicey, but we're gonna be more whiny and brash with it. Up here, like this, just talk.
Are you gonna spread love or hate? Are you gonna spread love or hate? Are you gonna spread love or hate?